lecturer. I'm Adaramola Olabanji. I'll be taking you through the human brain. I have my objectives here. The first objective on the list is to identify the brain as an organ. The second objective is to describe the structure of the brain, and the third objective is to highlight the functions of the brain. And I have my outline, the introduction, divisions of the brain, functions of the brain, and my references. By way of introduction, the brain, as you can see in the diagram, is a delicate nervous tissue. It accounts for 2% of the total adult weight, and the brain and the spinal cord make up the central nervous system. You can see the area of the brain here, the cerebrum here. You can see the stalk, which is a stem, what we call the brain stem, that have three structures: the midbrain, the pons varolai, and the cerebellum and the medulla oblongata. Then we have the hindbrain, which is the cerebellum. Divisions of the brain, just like I said earlier, we have the forebrain, which is the cerebrum. We have three structures there: midbrain, pons varolai, and medulla oblongata, making up the brainstem. Then we have the hindbrain, which is the cerebellum. The cerebrum, the whole area the console is traveling through now, is the area of the cerebrum. It's the largest part of the brain. It constitutes about 83% of the entire brain mass, and the cerebrum is divided into two parts that we call the hemispheres by the median longitudinal fissure. And the cerebrum is the area that you can see that is rough and on the surface, because that roughness accounts for the intelligence that is seen in human beings, as opposed to lower animals that have the surface of their cerebrum smooth. Then we have the areas of the brainstem, like you can see the console traveling from the midbrain, the pons varolai, and the medulla oblongata. The three areas are referred to. The brainstem is the smallest part of the brain, and it constitutes about 3% of the brain. Then we have the area of the hindbrain that is called the cerebellum. It's about 10% of the brain, and interestingly, it contains more than 50% of all the neurons in the brain. And also, this cerebellum has relationship with the spinal cord, and also structures coming from the cerebrum pass through the pons varolai to reach the cerebellum. The cerebellum also, like the cerebrum, is divided into two hemispheres, right and left cerebellar hemispheres. Then the functions of the brain. We will understand these functions by looking at each part of the brain. For example, the cerebrum, it coordinates the sensory and motor activities, and this proper coordination, or what we call the neural integration, makes us to determine thinking in human beings, personality development in human beings, motivation, mood regulation, memory, and emotion. Then also the brain stem that has the midbrain, the pons varolai, and the medulla oblongata. These areas control involuntary activities in the body, such as breathing, sneezing, vomiting, cardiac functioning, blood pressure control, and consciousness, even including sleep. Then also the area of the cerebellum, which is the hindbrain, it controls the motor activities. Then what has to do with equilibrium, then fine movement coordination, such as intending movement and actual performance. And when there is a lesion of this cerebellum, then we talk about clumsy, uncoordinated movement. Then I have my reference. Yeah, thanks for listening.